My eyes opened to a color of light that no hospital on Earth would ever use, and my first thought was that I should not be alive to see it. A machine near my head made a sound that was not quite a heartbeat monitor, and 4 tall figures stood around me, their skin like wet stone, their eyes wide and unblinking. One of them held an instrument close to my chest, then pulled it back and stared at it like it had lied to him. "He is awake," the tall one said. His voice came out flat and calm through a small device on his collar. "Run the scan again." I tried to push myself up, but a hand with too many joints pressed my shoulder down. It was not rough, it was careful, the way someone touches a thing they do not yet understand. "Please stay still, Corporal Lucas Hartley," the same voice said. "Your body has been through something we cannot explain." I remembered everything. My fighter had taken a hit that should have torn through the hull plating. I remembered the canopy breaking apart around me, the cold rushing in, the ground coming up fast. I remembered crawling across broken rock with pain in my side that told me something inside me was torn, dragging my friend Noah behind me because I could not leave him there. I remembered every second of it, and every second of it should have ended with my heart stopping. "Something wrong with your machine?" I asked, my voice rough. The tall one, whose name I would later learn was Renar, turned one large eye toward me. "Your wounds match your story. Broken ribs, a torn lung, burns along your side. All of this we understand. What we do not understand is why you are speaking to us right now, instead of lying in a container, waiting for a proper burial. Maybe I got lucky." "Luck does not explain cell repair," Renar said. "We have treated other humans before you. None of them survived injuries this severe without heavy medical support. Your body began healing itself before we even touched you. Your heart never lost its rhythm. Your mind never lost consciousness for more than a few seconds. This does not match anything we know about your kind." A smaller figure standing near the door spoke for the first time, his voice quiet. "It is as if your body already knew how to survive this, as if it had survived this many times before." I laughed, and then I regretted it because it hurt my side. "It is called training. We train for this." "No," Renar said, and for a creature with no real face to speak of, he somehow looked troubled. "We would like to run one more scan, a deeper one, with your permission." I did not have much else to lose that day, so I told him to go ahead. They ran the scan. The room grew quiet in the way a room grows quiet when people are reading something they do not want to say out loud. "Corporal," Renar said after a long pause, "do you know what your planet has survived? I know some of the stories. Rocks from space, ice ages, that sort of thing. Your world has faced 5 events that wiped out most of the life on it. A rock from space, years of cold and darkness from mountains that exploded, oceans that turned toxic, and killed almost everything living in them. Your species carries genetic markers that stretch back through all but the very first of these events. Your body is not simply healing itself, Corporal. It is following a pattern that has been repeated for hundreds of millions of years." Nobody spoke for a moment. Somewhere down the hallway, another machine beeped at a steady, boring pace, as if it had not heard what had just been said. "So what you are telling me," I said slowly, "is that I did not get lucky today. My ancestors got lucky, every single one of them, going back further than I can even picture. Through fire, through cold, through oceans turning against every living thing in them. And here I am, still breathing." "That is a fair way to put it," Renar said. I thought about the 4 kilometers of broken ground I had crawled across. I thought about Noah's weight across my shoulders, and how it had never once crossed my mind to put him down and save myself. "We come from a line that has been surviving the end of the world since before there were trees on our planet," I said, mostly to myself, "and it took you a machine to figure that out. My grandmother could have told you the same thing over a cup of tea." Renar's large eyes shifted in a way I would later learn was the closest his people came to a smile. "Rest now, Corporal Hartley. It seems your kind has had a great deal of practice at that too, resting, and then standing back up again." I closed my eyes, but sleep did not come right away. My mind kept circling back to Noah. I asked about him before anything else, and Renar told me he was alive, resting 2 rooms down, his leg wrapped and his breathing steady. That was enough to let the tension leave my chest. Hours later, When I could finally sit up without the room spinning, a young medic named Ilsa came to check on me. She was smaller than the others, with a gentler way of moving, and she seemed curious rather than cautious around me. "May I ask you something?" she said, adjusting a strap on my arm. "Go ahead," Renar said. "Your species keeps surviving impossible things. Is that why your people never seem to give up, even when a fight looks lost?" I thought about it for a moment. I think it is more than that. It is not just about surviving. It is about refusing to stop trying, even when trying seems foolish. My grandmother used to say that giving up was the only true way to lose. Everything else was just a bad day. Ilsa tilted her head, the way her people did when they were turning an idea over in their minds. That is a strange kind of strength. Not the strength of muscle, but the strength of refusal. Something like that, she smiled, or did whatever her people did that passed for a smile, and left to check on her other patients. 2 days later, I was strong enough to walk down the hallway on my own, one hand against the wall for balance. I found Noah sitting up in his bed, a bandage wrapped around his leg, looking better than I expected. "You look terrible," he said, grinning. "You are the one who needed carrying. I would have made it on my own." "Sure you would have." We both knew that was not true, and we both let it go, because that was how friendship worked between us. He asked what the medics had told me, and I explained it as best as I could, about ancient markers and repeated disasters, and bodies built by millions of years of narrow escapes. He listened without interrupting, which was rare for him. "So we are built from a long line of things that refuse to die," he said when I finished. "Something like that. That explains a lot about you, Hartley. You have always been stubborn. Takes one to know one." He laughed, and for a moment, the sterile room did not feel so strange anymore. It felt almost like home, in the way that shared danger and shared survival can turn any two people into family. Renar found us there together later that day, checking a small device that hung from his wrist. He studied us both for a moment, the way someone studies a puzzle they have only partly solved. "Your medical records will be studied for a long time," he said. "Your species may be small compared to many others we have encountered. Your weapons may be simple. Your ships may be slower. But your bodies carry a resilience that very few species in this galaxy can claim. That is worth more than any weapon. Tell that to the people still out there fighting," I said. "I intend to," Renar said. "Command has asked for a full report on what we found in you. I believe it will change how we plan future rescues involving your kind." I did not know what to say to that, so I simply nodded. It was strange to think that surviving something I never chose to survive might end up helping others survive too. That night, lying in the strange colored light of that unfamiliar room, I thought about all the versions of my ancestors who had come before me. The ones who outran fire, the ones who found shelter from the cold, the ones who found clean water when the oceans turned foul. None of them had known they were building something. They had simply been trying to see the next sunrise. And here I was, light years from home, proof that they had succeeded every single time. I thought about Noah resting safely down the hall, about Ilsa's quiet curiosity, about Renar's careful eyes studying numbers he could not fully explain. I thought about my grandmother, and her steady voice telling me that giving up was the only real way to lose. Somewhere far away, my people were still fighting a war none of us had asked for, still refusing to stop, still following that same old pattern written into every cell of every one of us. I closed my eyes and let myself rest, the way my ancestors had rested after every disaster they had ever survived, gathering strength for whatever came next. I did not know what tomorrow would bring, but I knew, without any doubt, that I would be standing to meet it.